Charlamagne, this is Maul?
I didn't mean to yell. I don't want to look like these fat, stupid on podcast.
That's right. On an episode of Brilliant Idiots, it looks like Charlamagne might have dissed Maul, but obviously it could have been at some other podcasters, as this is exactly what he said. He said, I don't want to look like these other fat podcasters screaming. Now, while it may look like it's about other people, I would caution to say that it could apply to Maul. I mean, he was just screaming about, you know, the whole Drake versus Kendrick thing.
All of a sudden, I gotta sit here. No, I'm talking now. All of a sudden, I gotta sit here and look like I'm some OVO riding Drake caping when I'm just presenting the facts.
And what does this mean if Maul was indeed being insulted by Charlamagne? Well, it means a lot because Charlamagne and Maul have an interesting history. Remember back in the day when Charlamagne would visit the Joe Budden podcast and set the seeds of things to tear down the show? Some of the narratives that would be used to attack Rory and Maul came from that podcast later on. And there was also what Maul said about Charlamagne. Remember that classic quote that will live in history where Maul said it was over for the club.
The Breakfast Club is kind of quiet. Nobody really checks out the Breakfast Club like that no more.
It angered Charlamagne because he's very attached to the success of the Breakfast Club, and he would go on Brilliant Idiots, I believe, and say that Maul is a wide hip-having hater.
Don't be a wide hip-having hater is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just put misinformation out there just because that's what you're hoping happens.
And that would be the beginning of the industry body-shaming Maul, right? Ever since then, he's been called a fat vegan, a vegan vagabond. He's been hated and despised, and Charlamagne sowed the seeds of the animus towards Maul. Remember when he would trash how Maul wasn't that valuable and that, you know, Maul didn't deserve a certain percentage of the show? Charlamagne got real nasty with Maul. He was playing real ugly. But now we have this episode of Brilliant Idiots where it appears like Charlamagne might be dissing Maul. And yes, there could have been other fat podcasters screaming. You know, there's a lot of fat podcasters out there. He could have been talking about, maybe the podcast was about podcasts. He could be talking about me. Charlamagne embarrasses himself on Academics live stream. He could be talking about, I don't know, maybe AJ. AJ just did a video about, you know, how nasty Charlamagne was on the Academics live.
Charlamagne displays some nasty work. I mean, at the end of the day, he displays some nasty work, in my opinion.
I just did a video about a similar subject. You know, maybe he's talking about us, even though, you know, there's fatter podcasters than us. That's all I'm gonna say. I know a lot of you guys are gonna be in the comments, no, Danny, you're actually fat. Real nice people, a lot of you. I hope you get a sick, twisted enjoyment out of that. Really mean, hurtful things you're being said. Do I come to your house and insult you? No, I don't do that. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think Charlamagne is referencing Maul? Also, we gotta remember that Maul isn't the only person on the show that has some type of industry beef with Charlamagne. Remember, Rory tried to get on the Breakfast Club, but Charlamagne kind of played him and said that, you know, that I don't really need you to have my number.
Had Charlamagne text me, shit went green. He's like, oh, he just changed his number. Charlamagne wouldn't even speak to me based off that, which is fine. I get it. You have this truce with Joe and you don't want to, you know, make anything look weird where you guys have to go back and forth with this shit again.
Yeah.
But to not speak to me when you were going back and forth with Joe, you was calling my phone nonstop. I'm on the phone for 45 fucking minutes with you. Like, I helped you in so many regards when you needed something. And not to say I needed to get on the Breakfast Club, nor did I give a that he said no.
To have a conversation.
To not even, to say don't even give him my number when months prior to that, you was on my fucking line talking my ear off about like, why is Joe doing this to me?
On top of that, you know, Rory was the one that got Joe Budden to ease up on Charlamagne because Charlamagne was crying on his phone. This is Rory's words about Joe Budden threatening to, you know, interview somebody from Charlamagne's past. And yeah, the Rory and Maul podcast for his Brilliant Idiots. It's a thing, man. It's a thing, y'all. It's happening. But we'll see if this escalates. We'll see how far this goes. This is very engaging content. Charlamagne's passive-aggressive ways continue, y'all. Alright, y'all. That's my video for the subject. Let me know what you think. Like I said before, follow me on Instagram, The Stop TV. Follow me on Twitter, The Stop TV. This is Danny from The Stop. Peace.